Okay, I started. Wait, so you actually haven't read the book yet?
Of course not.
Damn.
That's not how I do.
Okay.
I'm hoping you folks can just tell me what the book is about, and I don't have to read it.
Uh, I mean, sure. Though, no, like I actually prepared some really neat discussion points. So
Okay,
What?
cool,
yeah,
cool.
maybe you can drop
Okay.
this next time.
Oh yeah, I mean, I will. I will try and read as much as I can. I might not finish it in time.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
For the next time we talk, but let me ask this first question. So aside from reading, you know, the summary on the back of the book, um, the book is basically like a darker or grittier retelling of the Tale of Wonderland, right?
No, it's like
Or a tale of the Looking Glass.
it is completely different.
It's basically a fanfic.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. A retelling.
No.
So it's not.
mm,
Okay, so maybe the word isn't right. Maybe you can disagree with me on
no, like
what I'm
it's
saying.
taking elements from it and like telling completely different story. Like
Yes. Okay,
so,
sure. If you know what the word for that is, then I will take it. But in my
yeah.
mind, that's a retelling.
Uh,
I don't know
like no, it
what else the
follows
word.
like the structure is different. People are different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Uh, it's like
Because when I do the lookup of the word retelling, it is a new and often updated or retranslated version of the story. So
yeah, like for me, like I can't see any sort of filter for which like this is a retelling, like for which like a filter you can pass Looking Glass and Alice in Wonderland
sure.
and like arrive in this because okay,
Yeah. So I mean, fanfic is the modern day term of that. That's cool.
essentially, I think that like if once we'll like start telling you what happens, you go, oh, this is very different. Like it's like
I already know that. Yeah. I already know that.
yeah.
Like I know that, for example, the Mad Hatter is known as Hatter Madigan. I'll be right back. I got a buzz. One
Okay.
moment.
Okay, you're so how much have you read?
I'm in the middle of a chapter. In the middle of chapter 16? Yeah, 16. The first chapter that's actually a few pages long, not like 3 pages only.
Okay, so it's like a quarter of the way through.
Yeah, page 106 out of 350.
Oh, okay. What was the last thing that happened?
Basically, she just met the other orphans and she just got her clothes from them.
Yeah.
So nothing interesting so far. I
That's the
assume
book.
that
Honestly,
means
that's the fucking book.
I expected that much, to be honest.
Okay.
I was like, ah. That's why I sent you the message with the fanfic comments, because I was like,
Yeah.
that must be how it feels.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I actually looked up the author, and he's not a writer. He used to just fuck around in Hollywood for a bunch of time. Like he was an actor. I think he did stunts. Like he did a bunch of stuff. Like this was in the 90s.
Okay.
And then I think at one point, like he took a crack at screenwriting, and at the same time he was also writing this book. Because I think he has like 3 screenwriting credits.
I'm back, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I was just talking about the author, and
Yeah, the like no name author, pretty much.
yeah, no, yeah.
I mean,
So I was telling you, right, like he's not like a writer. He just fucked around in Hollywood for a bunch of time, and then I think at one point just started writing this book. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it started off as a screenplay. 'Cause it really feels like it.
yeah. I think one of the things about this book in general was like the reason I was given it to read is not as like a great piece of literature or even a good piece or even a piece of literature at all. It was really just because my DM in D&D was using it like as inspirational work.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
like, some people watch anime and they're like, "Wow, that's so cool! That's such a good story," or "That looks so great." And then like there are some animes that are just total shit, but still give people great ideas. Or
Yeah,
or
I
like
agree. Like,
have like interesting ideas, and like this is the same thing. I think it doesn't really matter how good or bad it was. It was just more like, wow, what an interesting idea. I think I'll just go ahead and steal it.
yeah, no,
Or
you can
borrow
make
it or
a
whatever.
pretty
So.
awesome campaign based on this. Like you have to like remove the first half, or maybe it can be like backstory. But yeah, because it's essentially like a good versus evil tale in the vein of Star Wars. It feels very
Yeah.
Star Warsy to me.
Does it? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he had. I met Alice in our campaign. So, and I met Hatter Madigan as well. And
Wait, okay, I'm surprised. So how old is Alice in your campaign?
um,
Ish.
I don't remember. I don't know that I actually saw her face to tell.
Oh.
Because she was wearing a mask.
Okay. But would you like imagine like late 20s, kids, teenager?
I would say somewhere between 30 and 40, maybe old at this point. I'm not sure. Maybe older. I don't know that age actually came up. And then the Tweedledee and Tweedledum characters we briefly met too. They were on the train with us.
I actually
and of course
haven't
the
met
Red
him in the book yet.
And of course Red wanted our heads or something.
Yeah.
Red is I don't know what she wanted from us. She just wanted to collect us. By the way, I'm gonna eat lunch, so
Okay. We'll try to hide our swooning. Yeah. So like as I was reading this book, I took a bunch of notes, and honestly, it's quite vile. But I have one note saying red equals Stalin, which I think is pretty apt. Yeah, you haven't really explored much of Wonderland yet. No.
Basically nothing of Wonderland.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm gonna spoil stuff. There's a huge time skip, which is like for 11 years, at least, or 13. The time is a bit weird. It's between 11 and 13, which is just okay. Actually, you know what? Let's start. Let's for Simon's sake, let's just say what happens in this book. So, do you want to start?
Well, Wonderland, like the queendom with the Heart Queen, got invaded by the evil aunt, Red.
Yes.
That's everything so far.
Oh, okay.
Here, Alice had to run with Hetting, or Meta Hetting, or whatever his name is, who is basically the bodyguard for the queen.
Yeah, who is like a superhuman?
Yeah, whatever he is supposed to be. I was like, okay. He can dodge bullets without a problem. Good to know. But he gets caught by random people with a rack.
Yeah. Yeah, it has a certain slapstick comedy aspect to it, which doesn't gel with the general atmosphere.
The entire book feels like it doesn't really know its tone.
Yes.
And one side, in the beginning, I was like, yeah, it's a little bit like mystical, like a children's story, like most like the original Wonderland is. The original Wonderland is.
Yeah, but
with how it's. But then the book is always like, yeah, I watched my parents get slaughtered, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, the body count is crazy.
And not even traumatized.
Yeah, no, the body count is absolutely crazy in this book, which it's weird. It's written like a kid's book, just language-wise. Very simple, like not in a good way, just bland. But like what actually happens is surprisingly dark, which This is like when I was reading the book, I kept thinking about the actual audience, and just I couldn't place it because I think certain people, like non young adults, I'll say maybe 14 and up, would get pretty bored with the actual language.
It says right on the back of the book that I have that it is a grade level 7.5.
I
So
have no idea what that means.
okay, so 13.
Grade 7 is
Okay.
Oh, 11.
about 13, 14.
No, yeah.
Oh, wait,
No, yeah, it's 13, 14. Sorry, yeah.
so that's the target.
Maybe I guess like with the blood, but yeah, like when I actually went and compared it to Earthsea and Coraline, like language wise, and honestly, Earthsea and Coraline are pretty like are quite harder to read than this book, and Earthsea and Coraline are definitely kids' book. So no,
I'm so sorry. I'm currently eating lunch,
that's cool.
so I could keep going in and out. I just realized I didn't have myself on mute as I was mashing the food. But anyway,
It's fine. Yeah. Yeah. So I honestly don't know who it's written for, just because it's so bloody, just extreme bloody.
do you think that books need to be written for somebody?
Generally, I think that you should have a certain audience in mind.
That's interesting.
No, because
Because I don't think so. I don't know if I agree. Because like for me, if you want to tell a story, you're just going to tell the story. Now, publishers, on the other hand, will try and drive you, or editors will try and drive you towards a certain market. And that's where, your original story, or your unoriginal fan fiction, or your whatever, fanfic in this case, might get mutated a bit from your original. Or I feel like, at least from the quote-unquote artistic process, for whatever it's worth, or the creative process, let's go with that. Unless you're like specifically wanting to target a market, so to speak, or an audience, I don't know that it has to.
okay, not consciously per se, but it can create clashes. For example, in this book, where the language itself is really, really simple, which I think bores some people, but the content itself is quite bloody, so like kids who would usually be fine with the actual text might be taken aback by the actual content. And I think that older people will get bored by the actual text, but be fine with the actual content. Yeah, that's.
I think at like age, when I was about 13, I was reading like more advanced books. Like I think I tried to read War and Peace and just got bored of it. So just to give you like an example of how varied it can be.
Okay, no, yeah, I'm sure that this book definitely has an audience. It's a bestseller, but it's
a bestseller?
I think so. Well, everything's a bestseller.
Oh, it is. No, it just says New York Times best-selling author, which whatever.
Oh, I think he only wrote this.
Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Look how much information I have just by looking at the book cover.
Right. Yeah, it seems like he's only written this series. And a fuck ton of spin-offs. Yeah, so if it's a bestseller, then it has to be this book.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's okay. Like it's weird. It's like I'm asking a question which I know has an answer to, because like it clearly has an audience, but I just don't get it. Yeah.
There's another factor to this too. which is
Post 9/11 Cloud. Honestly, this feels very 9/11 if I'm being honest.
well, I guess it is post 9/11. But anyway, what's the word I'm looking for? Or what's what I'm trying to say here? The book came out in like the 2000s, right?
Yeah, 2004.
People don't read. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, this was during the Harry Potter craze, so
Mm-hmm.
I think this is when
And
kids.
isn't Harry Potter a dark book as well? At some point, not in the beginning, but like later on, it gets even darker.
I read it between
certainly
ages
not as-
7 and 13, so.
I mean, certainly not as much as what you're describing here, but
Okay,
I
no,
don't know.
darkness is fine for kids. It's just like in.
All I know is if you think about like something, and it's really funny because I keep going back to anime, but if you think about it, like that sort of stuff is like rated for 14-year-olds, right? TV 14 in the U.S. and obviously in other countries it's even younger.
Oh man, I
Some
thought
of that anime is so bloody, like just blood spurting everywhere on the screen, our limbs falling. Like I'm watching the 2003 version of Fullmetal Alchemist. I mean, there's kids dying, there's child murder, there's rape.
Okay, no, Fullmetal Alchemist
there's wars.
is for
There's
all
like an
people.
entire, there's like entire civilizations, or not civilizations, there's like entire cities getting blown up.
Yeah.
There's somebody like mutating his own daughter. Sorry for all the spoilers, but
She's making a chimera, yeah.
that's as much as I can give, or as much as I'm willing to say without spoiling everything, because that's most of that is very early on. But I mean, it's like
No, I watched it.
it's pretty gory. I'm just thinking in those kinds of terms, like I don't know, but at the same time, it's like it's very easy to distance yourself from a cartoon, for me anyway, or from animation, versus like when you're reading it, like your imagination kind of takes over.
Yeah.
So I can see what you're saying.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, Fullmetal Alchemist is a bit for older people. It's like not kids, like late teens.
No, it's not. It's for kids.
Isn't it seinen? Seinen? I mean, shonen it's a weird word. I mean, it's not for kids in the same way Dragon Ball is for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, technically, shonen is up to age 17.
It's between ages 12 and 18, and when it got a rating on Netflix or in the U.S., it's got TV 14. So yeah, it's the same as this basically.
Yeah.
I mean, rating wise, Fullmetal Alchemist is good. I like it, but it's interesting.
Yeah, the whole audience is because okay, I also did more research on this book, and yeah, it ranges between YA and a kids book. Like in some stores they put it under kids, and some stores they put it under YA. Yeah.
That sounds like a mistake.
No, it happened a few times, and to be honest, I get it. If you're to look at the language, it's kids. If you look at the content, it's YA.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So, yeah, what else you guys got?
Okay, cool. Okay, I think we should actually just. I'll tell some of the plot, like up to a certain point, and maybe inspired to actually read it. So the world is like set in the world of Wonderland, where Wonderland is a country, and it's a queendom, so it has a female ruler. And it's not a rule of this world, like there's actually a kingdom nearby, and that king is kind of a misogynist. it's weird. Like the gender roles in this book are kind of surface level. I think for the full discussion, we might dig a bit more into that because it seems like for me it seems very like female empowering, but bullshit in the way that it's trying to sell itself on female empowerment, but females actually take a backseat where the males do most of the heavy work in this book. Okay, anyway, so this book starts on the 7th birthday anniversary of Princess Alice. And during that birthday, Alice's Aunt Red basically declares a coup on the Kingdom of Wonderland and kills Red's sister, who is Genevieve? Guinevere? What's her name?
I think it's Guinevere or something like this.
Yeah, she
It
does.
seems to be a complicated name.
Yeah, I was like, G something. So yeah, she declares with a coup d'état. Red kills her sister, and then and then Alice and Hatter Madigan something, then run away and they jump into this pool called the Pool of Tears, which is a reference to Alice in Wonderland, which is completely unrelated. Like the actual thing that happened in Alice in Wonderland is that Alice became like took a potion. Eventually, she grew to be a couple of meters tall, and then started crying. And then at one point, she took another potion and started shrinking. And then she was thinking that she was about to drown in her own pool of tears. So that's what the reference is from. Which
Okay.
yeah, this is what I meant, but it's not a retelling. It's like taking elements and just like putting them in a whole different story.
Sounds like just rips off the names.
Essentially, a lot of the characters have absolutely no resemblance. For example, Hatter Madigan, he's a super soldier who is a bodyguard thing.
So
yeah.
So if you think of it more like, Alice in Wonderland was something that somebody read, or Through the Looking Glass was something that somebody read, or they watched Alice in Wonderland, and then like, I'm gonna write a story, and it might seem very similar to that, but I'm gonna make it my own. Like, I think it might make it easier for you. Maybe you've already finished it, but for those that haven't, like, just basically assume that it has nothing to do with Through the Looking Glass. And like in a lot of ways, that's what I do when I watch like movies that are based on books, especially the original Dune movie, because usually you can't do the same. And I think this, from the sounds of it, is written like a movie or written like a, I keep going back to anime, but like written like like a kid's cartoon kind of thing.
No, this is what I meant.
Adult cartoon.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said that I thought it started off as a screenplay because it feels very screenplay-like.
Okay.
Yeah, or at least TV show something because it's somewhat visual.
Does it seem episodic?
Kind of. Every chapter, so there's like 3 different point of views, and every chapter jumps between those different points of views, which.
And does each chapter kind of conclude itself too?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, then I wouldn't be surprised if it started as some kind of cartoon show.
Yeah, and it also really fucks the pacing, if I'm being honest. It really fucks the pacing. It's just it can't build tension because it's like, oh, what's gonna happen? I don't know. In the next 2 chapters.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so before the coup actually happens, so Alice starts off as 7, and she has a childhood friend called Doge something, who is 10, and he's apparently a royal bodyguard. And at one point, certain character who becomes much more involved later on, called Jack of Spades, I think. Jack of something. Or Jack
Yeah,
of Clubs.
I got it, Captain Jack Sparrow. Yep. Mhm.
Yeah, who is also a kid, and like he's a high-ranking monarch. Um, like he's being a jerk, and all of a sudden, Alice's friend, who is a commoner, either punches him or shoves him on the floor, like does something quite violent to him, and that had me really worried, like as terms of what sort of book I was reading, because I'm not a stickler for realism, but there are certain things I'm just going, yeah, that would never happen.
Hmm.
And it kind of continues.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like it's weird. A lot of the characters in the book, especially after um, the time skip, really do not act their age. The interaction that Alice and her friend had just was very. I don't know. It felt like 13-year-olds or like early
Yeah.
teens rather than late kids.
Alice does not feel like she is
Yeah, no,
five
she
at
feels much
all.
older.
Hmm.
And later, when she's 20, again, she doesn't feel 20. She feels much younger. It's weird. Like I honestly have no idea why the author put this time skip in there and just didn't like more like condense everything. Because
Most likely so you can warp Wonderland more, I assume.
yeah, I mean, but he can still do it. Just do it faster. Because there's magic in this world. Like there's it's like okay.
Quick question.
Yeah.
You said she's a princess, right?
Yes.
Royals usually act older than they are because they're specifically groomed for such things.
Yeah.
I know it's been a long time since any of us have lived under a monarchy, but since this discussion is known as Divine Right Monarchy 2 Electric Boogaloo, I thought I would mention that people in a monarchy are typically groomed to present themselves as more mature than they are. Past like at a certain age, it's like no, you need to act like an adult now, even though you're not. So
But nobody does that to Alice. She can do all the stupid bullshit and
really,
everybody just accepts it.
so somehow, like she can do whatever she wants, but yet she acts. Well, okay, whatever. Just go on. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, like when you read this book, you'd say it's a bit annoying. Um, what was I gonna say? Like, let me look at my notes. Oh yeah, you're right. What? Okay, so the magic in this world seems to be a bit of like bloodline magic sort of thing, where like people can use their imagination to do stuff. It's very nebulous, and the best thing I can compare it to is the Force in Star Wars, because it's
Oh, fuck.
no, it's so. I think you've seen most of the stuff already. It like it feels like super vague, because what Alice did at one point, she just like sort of imagined certain objects behaving in a certain way. Um, I think at one point she imagined the Hatter's shoes or something like to be an inflatable balloon, and then he just started floating up in the air.
Not Hatter, but her personal trainer, yeah.
Yeah.
Or imagine that their clothes are worms or stupid shit like that. Or the food suddenly turns into worms. She's a cunt.
I mean, fuck, she's 7. Like at that point, I was like, she's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but still, she is a cunt. She's just mean because she wants to be mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody just accepts it.
Like,
Like,
7-year-old
wow.
princess. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what I was saying, it's very vague and very powerful, and at the same time, it's basically it feels like a Deus Ex Machina contrivance a lot of the times. Okay, no, it has the potential to. Wait, what do you say?
Whatever the author needs at a certain moment,
Yeah.
they can do with this magic.
Yeah, it's okay. So you know when the castle was stormed and Queen Guinevere,
The most incompetent guards in the entire world.
yeah,
I was just like, wow, this is a very good defended castle.
just storming the gates and then just like enemies flooding in.
They just walked into it, yeah.
They're just going into the throne room somehow, slipping through an entire city's guard.
So far, it feels like basically every character doesn't matter except people like Hatter that are just inhumanly fast, or people with imagination, because I don't know. Seems like they can do just everything they
Yeah,
want.
there's a bit of plot armor.
I have the feeling it will be worse at a certain moment because I just lost my thought. Wait. I forgot what I wanted to say.
Something worse.
Yeah, something that most likely will annoy me a lot, but I don't know why or what again.
Okay, maybe I'll come back to you later. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so about the imagination. So you know when Genevieve was defending herself and like she was conjuring swords and maces.
Oh yeah, I was wanted to say that why they don't use guns, because the gun is of course a child's toy or whatever.
Yes. So I thought that initially it was a industrial society. But at one point we discover that guns are pretty old in that world. And like Genevieve was conjuring up swords and maces. And just why not guns? Why not machine guns? Why not lava? I don't know. Yeah, so it has a
Because tension.
yeah,
That would
because
be
plot.
easy.
I can answer your question quite easily because mechanical things are more difficult to conjure up. So the intricate workings of a gun. So using D&D rules, it's one thing to conjure up a simple thing like a mace or a sword because it is composed of basic construction. But to conjure up something like a gun involves intricate mechanical processes that requires a lot more effort or intelligence or time.
Yeah, but she is the fucking queen, and she does like a lot of things at once. Like, why a bunch of?
Because God said so.
Yeah, no, it's
How's that for an answer? Do you like that? I bet you don't.
because that's what the author wrote.
Yeah, because God said so. That's why.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny because I have the rules for the wizard in D&D open right now to see what features they get at different levels. And I'm actually looking at the illusion wizard, but I was looking at conjuration before. It's kind of funny because it totally applies to what you were just talking about a moment ago. Which is pretty funny because it makes me understand why this dude is like yeah, this totally can apply to campaigns. This is great.
No, yeah, especially if you go to the broad world, just don't use the imagination thing because it's super general. It can actually locate people as well. It can conjure up mechanical creatures. So it like for example, like after the time skip, we discover that Red created a bunch of like sort of automatons, which just go around the country and just look for traitors. So
yeah, the card soldiers.
No. They're called eyes in the book.
They can be called whatever they are. But
Okay. There are card soldiers, but they're also eyes, and they're two different things.
Okay.
Yeah, and also the card soldiers are like people. it seems. I'm not sure. It borrows a lot from Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, and there are also like chess pieces, and they seem to be um, like okay, for example, like the card's number correlates to their importance, it seems, and the same thing goes for the chess pieces. So like a rook is stronger than a pawn, but it's not clear if it's like a birth thing or if you can like rank up or anything.
Is there a difference in power between card soldiers and figures, like rooks? Or is it just that card soldiers are evil and chess pieces are good?
No, they're both the same. Like, I honestly, I have no idea why even have the two except for they're both in Asa Wonderland Through the Looking Glass.
Well, yeah, most likely.
Yeah, but yeah, because like there are cards on both sides of the conflict, but the chess pieces are only like on the good side, I think. I'm not sure. Like at one point, you had Red complaining that she had really low suit numbers in her army. It's like
Yeah.
the number really does matter, but in what way?
It's basically how good they are as soldiers. I don't know why she still trained them in the end.
Oh my god. Oh, okay.
I think that
Can we?
doesn't matter.
Okay. One of my biggest pet peeves and why I keep comparing this to Star Wars is because when you have imagination, you have light imagination and you have dark imagination.
Because of course you do.
Yes, no, I have no idea what the difference between the two is. Like, so okay, with the Force in Star Wars, like the light side comes from like positivity, calmness, whatnot. Dark side comes from anger and just evil thoughts. I have no idea where good like light imagination comes from in the book. It's not stated. It might be later on, but it's pretty important so far because it's like initially there was essentially religious oppression of dark imagination users, and then later on there's
What?
religious.
Okay. Seems like this book will.
Yeah, no, okay, you probably missed it because they talk about how Queen Genevieve allowed for. I'm not sure if it was jailing, but like suppression of dark imagination practitioners. So yeah, so it was essentially I compare like for me like imagination. This book is very similar to religious practice. Um, so I compared that to essentially religious suppression, and that really did not gel well with me. And then later on, like when Red becomes dictator, she starts oppressing white imagination users or practitioners for some reason. And it's like I have no idea what the difference is. Like I can't I can like conceptualize like because
You ever played Final Fantasy?
some of it.
Like the original? Do you know anything about the difference between a white mage and a black mage? And a blue mage and a red mage?
Isn't it about like how they use it?
I assume it's something as stupid as that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fine. It's like it's a fucking game. Like here, it's actually kind of integral to the world, like because the suppression.
When you play Final Fantasy, the first one, there's no like explanation. There's nothing that says this is what white magic is, and this is why it is, and this is why you use it. It's just what kind of mage do you want to be? It's like I don't know, a white mage, I guess. I don't know, maybe a red mage, sure.
I mean,
And as you play it, you find out what it is. It's kind of funny. Because I'm just thinking like, this game is clearly made, or this book was clearly written and that kind of mentality, like, we don't have to explain it. Kids will understand. They play enough video games. They watch enough cartoons.
Okay, no, that's
And then, like, you're coming at it from, like, the perspective of, like, a reasonable, literate adult, and you're like, well, this book makes no sense.
okay. No, I'm fine with not being told, but like through how people in the universe behave, like kind of like understand it in a vague way. But honestly, I have no idea what the difference between dark imagination and light imagination is, because as far as I can see, they behave exactly the same. Uh, yeah, although I mean, maybe I'm just being a bit too pedantic. Maybe it gets
Well,
explained it because actually I didn't finish the book yet. Maybe in 2 weeks I'll be eating worlds and go, oh, this is what it was about.
I have my doubts, but still,
Yeah.
man can hope.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Well, at the very least, I'm glad that you guys gave it a shot. I mean, you don't have to finish it. You can just read something you'd enjoy more.
I'm pretty close to the end. Also, I'm really spacing it out. Like, I think I read like 1 chapter, 2 chapters, and one go.
Is it hard to read, or are you just trying to space it out?
No, it's bland as fuck. It's funny. Like, I was reading Madame Bovary, and that book really bores me, but I really want to finish it. And I'm alternating between the two. Like, I get bored of this book and I go to Madame Bovary. Then I get bored of Madame Bovary and I go back to this book. Uh, yeah. Okay, so did we go into how Alice and Hatter go into like our world?
I don't think we only mentioned that they jump into the.
Yeah.
Or you only.
Yeah. So when they jump into the pool of
Yes.
tears, they end up in our world in 1860. Yeah.
I don't know. Alice is in London and Hatter in Paris.
Yes.
I will be right back. I start to run to the bathroom.
And for some reason, everybody in Wonderland speaks English.
Yeah, that was. I found it a bit funny.
I was just like, you lazy motherfucker.
Yeah. Honestly, I'll be fine if Hatter knew both French and English, because
Yes.
he's a
Then
magical
then-
creature. Who cares?
Yes. But if you separate it, like, he does not understand French, then it's like, okay, why the fuck are they speaking English? Like, that's just weird.
Because in the end of the series, we'll discover that this was actually all a dream by Lewis Carroll. No, it's
And
fine.
it will be
Huh?
it will be something stupid like, the other languages are imagined by stupid Wonderlanders for their dumb parade.
Yes.
Which is so stupid, like, ooh, every imagination comes from Wonderland, and someone has to make it there. It's like, the fuck?
No, I was thinking about it. It's like at one point I was thinking about the atomic bomb, and I was like, what sort of weird day was that during the parade? Oh yeah, we have this weapon of mass destruction. Yes, that
It has to be a kid.
Yeah.
But of course it has to be a kid.
Oh god.
Uh,
No, I was thinking like also like in terms of ideas, if that also comes from Wonderland, because goddamn, anarchy would have been a really weird thing to present.
yeah, to the monarchs there.
Yeah.
I think that's just the leftover of basically the roots as a Wonderland story, like connecting to Alice, that basically the imagination comes from there. And then the book trying to be more grown up, basically, and just failing to translate its concepts. So it's just a weird disconnect.
Yeah. And they're necessary, if I'm being honest. I think the books would lose very little if it was actually trying to, if it actually just omitted some of the stuff.
So far there's not a lot to lose. So even
Okay.
a little loss would be big for the book.
Yeah. Okay, I
Yes.
must say, the time period they were both like it's weird. Okay, so later on you discover that actually Alice meets Lewis Carroll, and apparently she's the inspiration behind Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass.
That's in the prologue, and I was like, you fucking asshole,
Yeah,
author.
yeah. It then happens proper later on. Um, like she gets adopted, and then she meets Lewis Carroll, something Dogman. I can't remember his full name. Uh, and then he writes the book. She gets annoyed that he changed everything, and as far as I can see, she still holds a grudge, like a decade later, over that fact.
That's understandable.
Yeah, it's weird. Like she actually stops believing that Wonderland was real and thinking that this was all a childhood dream of hers. But she still holds the grudge against Lewis Carroll. It's yeah, honestly like it really the book needs a few more drafts. Yeah,
I was
it
actually
reflects.
thinking why.
Hmm?
I was actually thinking why the author basically made the original authors to basically be an asshole and just rewrite it and be mean to her in that way. He doesn't even use his actual name for as the author name for some reason. Basically, pseudonym. I was like, why would he do that? It would be easy to be like, okay, you're searching for Hatter. I can only write children's stories. Basically, if I put my name on it and I write a children's story that will be popular, then he will easily find you. I was like, that would be so much better. And he would not be an asshole to the original author.
Yeah,
But I think that if she holds a grudge and she forgets about Wonderland, then it actually makes sense in the end. Still mean.
no, it makes sense, but it reflects badly on her. Like it makes her pretty vindictive. Uh, yeah. Okay, so the reason why I wrote that Alice is a pathological authoritarian is that she ends up almost marrying Prince Leopold of England. Uh, yeah, no, it's very funny. It's just like okay, wait 1 second, I'll turn the lights. Okay, so after Alice is a street urchin, she ends up in a oh fuck, what's it called in orphanage, and then she gets adopted by a reverend. And as she grows up, people keep saying that she's a very beautiful person, but she is in general pretty disinterested in love because I mean it's understandable. She has a lot of emotional trauma that no one believes in. Um, and at one point when Prince Leopold courts her, I think almost verbatim he says you're not like other girls. And
Hello.
hello. And that at that point it was very eye-rolling for me, especially after reading Compromise last month, because it seems to be a very specific archetypes for, I would say, like female audience avatars, where it has to be stated that they're very different, like they're bookish, or they're like history and politics, and they're pretty, of course, as opposed to
But not ordinary pretty, like in a special way pretty. Like
yeah. Well, no, this is the exception. Actually, here she's just generally pretty.
Oh, okay.
I think that the book would have been longer if he. I think okay. So as Simon took notes, like, it has a very weird chapter economy where every chapter is pretty short but has its own mini arc. And I think that having Alice be unconventionally pretty would make certain chapters too long. Oh, actually, no, I think you can just write it in one paragraph.
You know, the interesting thing though is that this isn't just one book that he wrote. Like, it's a series, which makes me wonder
Yeah.
what the fuck is the rest of the series about. But I guess it's just about the wars. So, because the next one is called Seeing Red, and the last one I think is called Arch Enemy. Yeah.
We'll see. Ask the DM friend if he actually read the other books.
I'm guessing he did. And I guess there is a whole other series about just Hatter Madigan. So,
Because he's the cool.
or Hatter M.
I hope he is not as boring as he appears so far.
Honestly, like all the characters are one note. Just
Oh, fuck it.
yeah.
I mean, that's what I would assume. Yeah. I mean, like I said, in a video game or a kid's series, usually that's what you get. It's just a very...
You're admitting this is a kid's book.
Yeah, but when I say kids, it's not like you say kids like you're all high and mighty, but when I say kids, I mean like 0 to 18.
Oh. No, I'm saying like,
To me, childhood ends when like it's not a specific age; it's more about a maturity level, and it can extend into your 20s, especially these days.
And 50s.
Well, I don't know about that, but you know what I'm saying, though. I hope.
Yeah. No, it's honestly, I think the book is just poorly written.
Yeah, it's a poor written epic. That's my opinion.
Yeah, most of my
That probably tells me that I'll like it.
I think it's an
not last one.
interesting. It's an interesting difference to Compromise, where we said it's competently written, but it's just fucking boring.
Yeah.
And this one is just pure bad.
Yeah. This is, I think, the book I liked the least of all the ones we read.
Another book that I threw in the mix that nobody liked. I can't remember what it was right now.
The noir story.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, another book I never read.
Empire. No, Empire something?
Yeah, and it was funny because at that time, Kyung was saying like how people were thinking that they didn't want to be mean to me and say no, we don't want to read this, and I'm like, no, I don't care if people want I mean, you can say whatever you want, but I remember nobody liked it, and I remember that I myself did not like it, so yeah.
Oh, that one was leaps and bounds better than this.
Yeah, because it was different, written for a different. I don't know how to put it. With a different idea in mind, and probably a little slightly more original.
Yeah, I think also the author was better.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because that one was noir, like hard noir, and this one is garbage.
Your face is garbage.
Yes, it is. Especially nowadays. Actually, how often do you guys shave nowadays?
I just shaved on like Friday or Saturday actually, but before that I hadn't for like 2 months or longer. No, 3 months probably.
Yeah.
I have to shave my mustache, otherwise, like like when I eat, it's half hair, half food. But yeah,
You're
you know what I'm saying.
yeah, it gets messy.
Basically, every week I have to shorten it a bit.
Yeah.
Or every 2 weeks if I'm lazy.
Oh, okay.
Did you have a beard before though? Normally.
Yes.
Nice.
Since like 2 or 3 years.
Very nice.
Neat.
Because it's less work.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I tried growing a beard now in quarantine, but it just didn't work.
I don't believe you.
I mean, I tried. I think
You're too critical. You're just too critical.
no,
You're too hard on yourself.
No, I didn't. It's not that it didn't look good. I just didn't like the feel.
You're too picky. I don't know. I don't have a good one for that. That's cool.
Yeah.
See, when I don't want to have a beard, I just use my trimmer to bring it. Like I don't use a razor. I use just the trimmer to bring it down to like just the like low level fuzz because I can't stand being clean shaven. It makes my skin feel really bad. But maybe that's
It's like,
because I
oh
haven't
no,
done
it's
it for
too
years.
soft.
What's that?
It's like, oh no, it's too soft.
No, it's just something about it. Like it makes my skin like hurt, like burn. Right? It's the whole razor burn thing,
Oh shit.
and I get it. It like hurts. Right? So I just bring it down to like stubble, like a very low level stubble, and I'm happy because my face feels fine, and I don't have a beard, and it doesn't look horrible, and at least it like brings a little bit more definition to my chinless face. So, have you guys ever seen the difference between my beardless face and my bearded face?
No.
No?
If anybody ever cares, I'm sure I have photos somewhere.
Sure. Upload them. Let us see the glory. I
Um,
wish Elise would grow a beard. Just make it more interesting.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said I wish Elise would grow a beard. It would make her more interesting.
That's
Okay.
Okay, no, it's. I think that I'll save it for the full discussion, but it's. I think that's like having this, like talking about how proactive different characters are. It would be quite interesting. Because Alice isn't like at all. Man, I hate her as a character. I mean, I think I hate most of the characters in this book. Like, not as people, just as characters.
So far, they are all just boring.
Yeah, super one note. It's like Hatter. What's his personality? Like, he's a soldier looking for Alice. Alice, what's her character?
Yes.
Like, he's like Red. What's Red? She's Stalin. Like, it's no, like you sound. You think I'm joking? It's a surprisingly apt description. Right? After the time skip, we discovered that there are gulags. That there's like a surveillance police state.
I was like, when she said that she needed the other houses, like the card houses, like House of Clubs, House of Diamonds, House of Space, and stuff like that, because she can't run a country with pure fear. I was like, okay, where's the story going, and why does this matter now? Why are you telling me this? But it seems like it doesn't matter. It's just
No, she creates a casino at one point. It's weird. Like you have like this certain funny aspects of like of the Lewis Carroll books like creeping in, and like you can like again like all the slapsticks, all the weird stuff. Like why is there casinos in fucking Wonderland? Who knows? And it's good. It's like certain like rays of weirdness shining into this bland mess, but it just really doesn't gel with the general stuff.
He had a good idea and he wanted to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I okay, for this would be man, I wish we could actually all just finish the book now and jump into some of the stuff, because honestly, I think that there are some pretty interesting discussion points like this that this book can that can be had about this book. Just unfortunately, we haven't finished it.
And I'm not looking forward to reading it, but I'll try. I'll be another person making me have. Did you start reading that book? Did you finish it? And I'm like, no. I have like there's so many books here. I don't like reading 3 at once, and one of them is pain. But
Do what I do, like take books breaks of this book. I mean, you don't have to finish it.
I'll try at least.
Okay. Pace yourself.
At least it's rather short.
Yeah, it's
Like
300 pages, you said?
And it's interesting, like, the text is very big, which I was like, oh, okay. Seems like it's for people that have trouble reading.
Yeah. For kids. Yeah, I have the ebook version, so I'm not exactly sure how long it is.
So kids, who likes for kids or what?
Do you have illustrations in the book?
No. Oh, well, at the beginning of each part is one picture.
Okay. Because in my version, in I think like the midway point, there are a few pages of illustrations.
Basically, in front of every part, there's one double page of a weird picture.
Okay.
That doesn't seem to have any meaning whatsoever.
Did you see the one with the card soldiers?
Yeah, isn't that the front page? I assume that's card soldiers.
No, there's like one specific illustration showing how the card soldiers like unfold. So they start off as cards and then open up.
Well, there's a series of pictures in the beginning of the book, yeah. Like a card that flips open.
Yeah.
Like, calling those card soldiers is kind of weird. It's basically a Star Wars prequel android hidden in a card.
Yeah. Yeah, but that illustration made me really question some stuff, because up till that point, I was pretty sure that like card soldiers are people, but here they look more like automatons, and
Roger, yeah.
I'm not sure, because there are also walruses in this book, so I guess it's personhood is a bit weird in Wonderland.
I also noticed there's a big timeline on the back of the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It starts with Alice arrives on Earth, and how does it end? Surprise. She will get to the throne. How surprising.
Should get what?
Alice claims the throne. Interesting. Last entry. And another one, but I don't want to spoil it, I think.
Do you care?
No, I don't care, but you may care.
No, I don't care. Spoil anything.
I'm sorry, what's happening?
I'm talking about basically reading how maybe one of the last events of the book.
Of which book?
The current one, Looking Glass Wars.
Oh, okay, yeah. You can say whatever you want. Yeah, that's fine.
It basically states that she will send a duplicate Alice into the real world to live with the parents in London. Are they important? Or is it just, I don't know, need to close as well?
No, I don't. I mean, I guess that she lived with them for 11 years, 13, between 13 and 11. But she didn't seem to care that much about them, I think.
Okay.
She does call them dad, mom, and dad, so maybe she does care for them. I don't know. That's. Although, if that happens in this book, then I'll be pretty impressed. Oh, honestly, no. The way that the book is written, I think, can end in 10 pages almost at any point.
And then there's a big battle. And now she is a queen.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. So, yeah, at the point where I'm at now, she is back in Wonderland, but she like her imagination muscles atrophied, so they're trying to figure out a way to make her powerful.
Okay.
Yes, so it's you can just write it as and then like she remembered how to use imagination, and then bam, killed Red.
I will not enjoy the magic in this book at all.
I got very sleepy after eating.
Gets into a food
In
court.
case it's not obvious, I just went from like talking to like
I assumed you were doing stuff.
every once in a while somebody says my name, like what? Yeah,
Okay.
sure. No.
Okay, so do you want to choose next month's book then? And end this discussion?
I think Yorha should pick it.
Well, we talked about a book in the last meeting already, so why not?
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
take Left Hand of Darkness.
Yep. By Ursula K. Le Guin, who is a good author for once. But yeah, you really gotta read a proper book. Okay,
Well-
I mean, 1,000 Splendid Suns was really good, so I guess.
Hey, so far I have a good track record with suggesting books, so
Yeah, I think I enjoyed all the books you suggested.
to be fair, it was only 2 books, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I suggested really shit stuff sometimes. What was it? I suggested Compromised. Oh, I did the Chaos book,
Oh yes.
which no one read.
Well, I wasn't busy, so
I read the Chaos book.
Oh, completely?
Yeah. I mean, I might have finished it after you folks, but yeah, I think I read the whole thing.
Sweet.
I completely forgot it already
Ah,
for the most part. I just remember that in the beginning it was talking about some dude going on a different time schedule, and then after that I don't remember. Oh, and a weather model?
yes. The precursor to the. Fuck, I forgot the name of the equations.
And I remember thinking about the movie Pi a
Are
lot
you hungry?
while
Pi?
reading. No, do you remember the movie Pi?
Life of Pi?
No, Pi. You've never seen the movie Pi?
Pi, just Pi?
Yeah, as in the number, the the mathematical constant thing. You've never seen it? It's a great. You should watch that movie.
Ooh.
I can't believe you've never seen that.
Nope.
You should totally watch that movie, man. It's old, but it looked old to begin with. It's like filmed in that particular style. So it's. I will say that it does get very intense at points. So just be prepared to pause.
I think that you mentioned it when we were talking about Chaos.
Yeah, I remember thinking about Pi a lot while I was reading it.
Yeah.
But that makes a lot of sense when you watch Pi. And literally, it's called Faith in Chaos. So, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
I'll watch it tomorrow, I think, or the weekend.
yeah, tell me where you find it, because then I'll...
Tell me.
Or are you gonna yo-ho-ho it?
If it's on Netflix, I'm going to watch it. Otherwise, yeah, yo ho ho.
Give me your pie booty.
Let's see.
When I do a search for Pi, well, that's difficult, isn't it? It's not like a popular movie, so I might have to search for the dude's name.
Darren Aronofsky. Well, it's good. He made some really interesting movies.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, this was his first one, I think. I think it's his first one, or at least, like, the first, I don't know. It's the first one I ever heard of, put it that way. Maybe
Yeah, he was like 30 when he made it, so...
Yeah. But then Requiem for a Dream was shortly after, like a couple of years later. And by then, you know, like, he already had a budget and stars and stuff like that. But this one was like, I think he might, like, it feels, or he might have actually just done it Clerks style, where it was like just filmed on like the highest quality black and white, or not black and white, but like the highest quality like handy cam you can find at the time. Maybe it was with a real camera, but there's definitely moments in it where like it just feels very close and gritty, which works really well with the style. But there's also scenes where like he does the thing that people do later on, or maybe it was like just being like newish around that time. It was like the I think it's called the Steadicam or something like that. But like basically like I remember reading or seeing something about it. It was like you attach the camera from a stick, you know, in front of the actor, and then film it that way, and it's like it matches their movements while the background. So the character looks steady while the background shakes all over the place.
Yeah, a bit like the Sherlock Holmes running scenes.
Yes. And I think it's gone out of style now, but I remember for a while it was kind of like the Matrix thing, where it's like, oh wow, that looks so cool, and then like everybody did it. So I feel like there was. I remember they did it in the movie called The Beach, which came out in like 2000s-ish, but except there they blurred the background to create hallucinatory effect. You know, and augmented the colors and stuff. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of stuff like if you go and watch that, you'll like. I think you'll like it.
Okay. I mean, I like
I'm super surprised you never saw it.
Yeah, me too, because I've seen most of the stuff.
It's like it's about math. It's about math, mysticism, Jewish mysticism, and it's kind of an artsy film. It just seems like kind of like right up your alley. And when I say artsy, I don't mean it in kind of negative sense. I mean, you read books. You're an intellectual. You're an intellectual whether you like it or not.
I like weird shit. It's cool.
Yeah, and yes, weird shit. It doesn't look like it's on Prime Video either.
Yeah.
Hey, it is. Never mind. You can watch it on Amazon Prime if you have that. Maybe I'll watch that tonight, since I'm not playing D&D. And then we can discuss it.
Maybe. Let me check.
You have like all the time you want to watch it. Because I don't need it to be, you know, like I just want to watch it to like remember what it is, because it's been fucking 20 years since I probably saw it.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Like currently, I'm trying to watch a Korean film called Fighter in the Wind, which I thought was going to be fun, but the beginning is really boring. I thought it was
You know what I just thought of?
You
know what I just thought of? That's totally crazy.
Okay, it isn't popcorn time. Okay, awesome.
We should have. Oh, actually, I guess the server already has it. I forgot about that.
Movie club?
I was just going to suggest an anime club where everybody watches an anime at the same time. But I forgot that we have an entire anime channel. It's really just nothing.
I'm scared to go on it.
Well, that's the thing. It's really just it's another place for people to put shit. Put memes and GIFs.
I think I clicked it once and I saw part in the discussion. I was like, what the fuck is he doing here?
Yeah, but like a structured book club or structured anime club like book club. Now, granted, book club is usually just 3 or 4 of us, so maybe we should just combine it. Ah! I know that when in the beginning, a lot of people were like, "Oh, cool! Can we do like manga and light novels and things like that?" I'm like, "Sure, whatever people vote for is fine with me." And then all of those people didn't show up. So
that's in democracy.
Sure, we'll read whatever you want. And then they didn't show up, so we're never going to read what they want.
How? Okay.
How?
Okay. How
Okay.
are you guys with really horrific imagery?
I mean, no. Yes.
Okay,
Maybe.
have you
It depends. That's a really broad question. It's hard to say.
Okay, I'll give you examples. What's his name? Ito, I think.
Like, I can't watch Hellraiser all the way through.
Oh.
I find it too disturbing.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's because I get involved.
Okay. Check out this guy. If you want to maybe go into manga, maybe we can read some of his stuff, because his stuff is unique.
Like, surprisingly, I have no problem looking at Eldritch art, which can be very disturbing looking, which is a lot of what I'm seeing here. But for some reason, Hellraiser just bugged the fuck out of me.
I'm actually reading the guy's book right now. Well, it's called Books of Blood. It's fucking great, man. It's actually based on the book Hellraiser. Actually, is it? No, it is. It's Hellbound Heart. Yeah, it's based on the book. Oh, maybe we can read that book later. Would you be cool with that?
I don't know.
I have never read.
I don't know. I'm sleepy now. That's all I got to know. That's all I know. And I have a conference call in 7 minutes, so I'm going to make a cup of tea, and I'm going to wish you folks a pleasant day.
Okay,
Maybe I'll chat again with you.
Yeah, I'll message you when I finish buying.
Okay, cool. I was going to say maybe I probably won't have to. I won't be able to hop back in because I have meetings for the rest of the day.
Okay, you stay busy.
Yeah, I gotta walk around. I'll be back. Gotta wake back up after lunch. Have a good day, folks.
Alright, you too.
Or night. Night, I suppose. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we're gonna read Left of the Darkness next.
Nice.
Yeah, actually good stuff.
I hope it's good. I think this time I actually need to take notes, because the first book I've read from her, I didn't take any notes, so I was I think I missed a lot of important stuff, let's just say it like that.
Do you remember which book it was?
The Dispossessed.
I haven't. I only read Earthsea by also.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't read that one.
You might like it. It's kids, but I think it's pretty good. And okay, it's simple. It's kids in the way that it's pretty simple, but I think that it's a very universal story. Also, it's really short. I think each book is about 100 pages ish.
Okay.
Yeah. And then nice. If you start, just know that the protagonist grows up. I initially found the protagonist extremely annoying in the beginning of the first book, and I just kept reading it, but I was very close to dropping it. But then he actually grows up, and I was like, oh, he's actually a nice character, awesome.
Character growth. There's something.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. He's a brat, and I think you're supposed to kind of hate him, and bites him in the ass. and then like, it's man the theming in the book is so good. It's like personal growth, dealing with childhood trauma per se, overcoming adversity, and also and then the world itself is fucking great. It's just the magic is very unique, and it's really weaved into the world itself. It's fucking magical.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have heard good stuff about that book, but again, I have currently like
That's fine. Yeah.
4 books next to me that I want to read.
No, you're reading Stormlight Archive now, right?
Well, I'm not really reading it. I'm basically reading it together with a friend, but she's currently busy, so I can't continue it.
The bitch. Is she a medical person?
No, she is studying international economy stuff.
How dare she? Invite you to the book club if you want. We need a bit of fresh blood. And then,
Well, if she would be fucking busy, then it would be a possibility, but she is again busy. So
damn it. Oh well.
she just basically is like, hey, I basically gifted you 2 books for your birthday. Did you start reading it? And I was like, no. I'm sorry.
And then she's like, okay, fine, we're going to start reading it together.
Yes. Basically, I was like, okay, fine. Tell me which of the 2 I should start with, and I'm going to read it now.
And you decided on the fucking 1,000 pages book.
And she didn't answer it. No, like, Stormlight was a different story. That's basically a few years ago. I noticed that we were both rereading Harry Potter.
Mm.
And I was like, hey, we were even at the same book. Would you be interested in reading it together? I think it could be fun. And she was like, no, because I will have go on a vacation in a few days, and I will read the books on the plane. I was like, okay, then not. A few months later, on my birthday, she was like, hey, I know you wanted to read Mistborn, so do you want to read it together? I was like, sorry, I just finished the 3rd Mistborn book, so that does work. And then she was like, okay, just select one to read. I was like, okay. And yeah, I was like, hey, Stormlight Archive, I like Sanderson stuff. And it's 1,000 pages, and it will basically end when we both are 40. So, this is a long-term investment. Let's
40
do
is
it.
optimistic.
To be fair, he is very, very well good with
Yeah,
his-
he's a very active writer. Alarmingly so. It's
Yeah, he's not a human, most likely.
yeah, no, I'm surprised his books aren't complete shit. Like,
The most people complain about the characters and that the stories are not, like, amazing, and I basically agree with the characters and the stories are basic, but I love the worlds. They're just, everything is so planned out,
yeah,
and everything makes sense.
it's not high literature. It's just fun.
Yes. Just simple fun and entertainment.
It's like the CSI of books. No. No, I think it's more like the Friends of books. It's like something comfortable you read and you enjoy.
I actually haven't watched both of the series, but again, I'm not a serious person, so...
You haven't watched Friends? I watched, I think, 1 episode of Friends. I'm not sure that it holds up nowadays. Because
I assume it's similar to what people say about Seinfeld these days, that they're like, yeah, it was amazing, but a lot of shit happened since then, and now it's just... Basically, everybody has done it, and everybody has done it better. At this
yeah,
point.
yeah, that's like the curse of something very influential. Of like, it was so revolutionary and it was amazing back in the day, but now everyone copied it, so it doesn't look as good anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's when a friend of mine watched Star Wars when he was in his 20s, and he was like, eh. Like, he's never watched Star Wars before. I was like, yeah, it looks fine. I'm just like, no, you have no idea how revolutionary it was for the time.
I have never watched the original Star Wars, like episode 4.
Really? It's like
Nope.
the
I
good
have
ones.
also never watched the first Lord of the Rings movie.
Wait, did you watch the second and third?
Yes, a lot.
But you never watched the first.
Yes.
Did you read the books?
No.
How does that make sense?
It doesn't. I thought I watched Lord of the Rings, like the original, the companions or whatever.
Fellowship.
I don't know what it's called in English.
Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay, makes sense. I thought I watched it, but then I basically read or watched basically companion work, or like someone basically made a summary of it. And I didn't realize, like, okay, I have no idea what's in English. The weather peak or the mountain thingy with the Nazgûl the first time.
Oh, yeah, where the hobbits like all go to like this round place, and the Nazgûl come, and then not Legolas. What's his face? Fuck. It's so bad I can't remember his name. Aragorn. When Aragorn comes and like burns him with a torch.
Like I realized I didn't remember that. So most likely I never watched the movie so far. So most likely I've only seen the beginning up until the bridge Gandalf part. Wow, my mind today is like not working at all.
Well, you're also playing something.
Yes. Someone was like, hey.
You know what you should do? You should marathon all 3 movies, the extended editions, in one day.
Yeah, I should buy it.
I've done it once. You need 2 bottles of wine, but it's doable.
Love wine.
Dude, oh god, I don't think you can go through that not drunk.
How long is it?
It's like combined 10 hours, I think. It's
At least
fucking
the
long.
movies are supposed to be good.
Huh?
At least the movies are good, I said.
Oh yeah,
Well,
they're fantastic.
but
Like, they
fair.
still hold up. It's quite impressive. Like, the special effects are so good. Like, even the CGI is believable. I mean, it's dated, but it's believable. I think that's why I'm a strong proponent for practical effects. Like, they can look aged, but they never look dated. Like, The Thing from 84. Like, it looks dated, but it doesn't look bad, because I think that's practical. But like, I mean, Star Wars looks dated now. But if you watch the original, a lot of the CGI stuff looks very dated.
Yeah, like they use like literal models, like didn't they?
Yeah. And also the stitching is a bit off. But in the remastered editions, they fixed a lot of stuff. And then they added CGI for some fucking reason. It's kind of stupid how they just didn't take the movies away from George Lucas at one point. I think you really should watch the originals, like the episode 4 to 6, both as somewhat the original way they were presented, and then in the new editions. it's. I think it would make a very interesting piece of like death of the author, as in just at one point the piece doesn't belong to the author anymore and just belongs to people, because George kept tinkering with it and actually ruining it to some degree.
I also never watched the new Star Wars movies.
Oh, that's fine. They're very disappointing.
I heard someone talking about basically what Anakin and Rey's origin story in the end is supposed to be, and I was like, what the fuck?
Wait, who? Whose origin story?
Anakin's and Rey's, like...
Oh, yeah. Wait, you mean like Kylo Ren?
No, like Rey. Well, Rey is a Skywalker, isn't she? Or...
No, she's a Palpatine.
Yeah, but isn't Anakin basically a Palpatine as well? Isn't that the dumb shit?
She.
Or am I misremembering?
It's so fucking stupid. So, Palpatine cloned himself, or at one point he had kids, and then those kids had Leia. Not Leia, had Rey. But it's unclear whether those kids are actually his kids or his clones, or at least one of them. Fuck. Or at least one of them are his clone. Episode 9 was a fucking mess. It's... Oh man, I was so depressed when I watched it in the cinema. Like, I had super low expectations. Just like, I was like getting more and more annoyed with it. And just... I watched it with my sister over Christmas. My sister really enjoyed it because it's explosion. It goes by like 100 kilometers an hour, but like, I was just like, actually, okay. I knew of the movie's reputation before I went in, so I went in with a critical eye. So I was actively analyzing the movie as it was going on, and I was just like getting really annoyed. And then, okay, and then the movie finished. My sister was happy, and I was just very like really annoyed. Just movie was shit. Kind of ruined the new Star Wars for me. I actually don't consider them canon anymore.
Well, okay.
Yeah. No, because for me it's like very expensive fanfic. Yeah, I mean, because George Lucas is involved. Like, why is that official Star Wars? Just because they paid him money? Fuck him. It's fanfic. Yeah. Wait, I think I stopped recording.
Well, this time you didn't forget, at least.
Yeah.